Good evening. You're tuning in to AWANI Tonight with me, Farhana Sheikh. Sarawakians head to the polls tomorrow. It may not be as smooth sailing for GPS in Iban seats. And study found women worked 1.5 times more than men due to unpaid care work. That's coming up. The 12th Sarawak state election campaign has hit the final stretch. While Gabungan Parti Sarawak is expected to breeze to a comfortable win, they may face uphill battles, especially in the Iban seats. We speak to Dick Lembang on hot seats to keep an eye on as Sarawakians head to the polls in the morning.
The most political party that give threats to GPS, especially among in Iban seats, is PSB, Parti Sarawak Bersatu. So I take for example like in Ngemah, if we look back at 11 state elections, GPS, which before BN Sarawak just won the seat with small majority, where they only got 154 majority votes. So with newcomer, I think it will create come out with tough fights for GPS there. For example, like in Simangang, there are very hot seats because the PSB there give big challenges to the incumbent to retain the seats. I think if not anything happen within today until 12, the campaign will be finished. I think maybe Semangang will win by the PSB. I think that even Baleh seat that held by the late Sarawak DCM James Jemut Maseng is not safe for GPS there. I think the murmurs on the ground that mentioned that the Maseng nephew Nicholas Kudi, he did not enjoy the full support of grassroots. So this is quite interesting to see tomorrow.
In securing the Iban seat, Dick says the candidate factor matters more than the party itself. He outlined the Iban community's woes that may affect the outcome of the election.
When we talk about Iban majority seats, apart from basic development issues, which is bread and butter issue, the most important is acceptable of candidates, especially in newcomer. The newcomers is primary factor that considered by Iban voter, which is a bigger factor than the party that is contesting. First is about the durations of incumbent serve as yang berhormat at certain seats is too long. Then the people there at the grassroots, they don't see in vast impact, especially in terms of development. So this is a major consideration also. And another one is, as what we know, every and each election, the native customary right land issue. This issue, people tend to see there is no political will to give the land title, especially land title under Section 18 of Sarawak Land Court. So they see that it's too much bureaucracy process. This thing could influence the voters' support, especially among the Ibans. And the number 3, the concern over perceived unfairness and equality, be it in politics and their rights among the Dayak community, especially Iban.
Whether calculated or not, the timing of Sarawak's election bypassed the Undi 18 victory. But the political establishment cannot avoid the next generation for long. Tonight on Consider This, we speak to our guests about Sarawak's youth and future. Parti Warisan has officially announced that it will be spreading its wings to Peninsular Malaysia. The party would be making its debut outside Sabah in the upcoming 15th general election. Party President Datuk Seri Shafie Apdal, as the Prime Minister candidate, said that he will be the Prime Minister for all.
Shafi'i also confirmed Warisan has formalized an alliance with the Malaysian United Democratic Alliance MUDA for GE15. However, he said the door remains open for other potential alliances in the future, including with opposition entities like Pakatan Harapan and Pejuang.
So we look into that. Yeah, it doesn't mean that kita dah tutup pintu, kita dah tak boleh buka sana, buka sini. Yeah, I mean politics, anything can happen, but we must also realize that we must have the right values when we work with any party or in the future. Yeah.
The party, founded in 2016, promises to bring a balanced narrative and politics of inclusivity. Shafi'i also denied suggestions that Warisan is a party meant only for Sabahans, insisting that it has always been open to all Malaysians, regardless of race.
Parti Cinta Sabah, led by former Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Anifah Aman, has been hit by mass resignations. PCS Vice President Datuk Iban, who led the departure, said party grassroots have been questioning the direction of the party. Iban, who is also former federal minister, said the decision was made after activities seemed to stop for the party after their defeat in the state election. He said the party leadership had also failed to communicate with its members and supporters at divisional level, and its administration had become disorganized. Among those who quit the party were Supreme Council members, former divisional coordinators and leaders, as well as Central Committee members of both the Women and Youth wings. We'll take a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. A study by University Science Malaysia conducted during the nationwide lockdown found that women worked 1.5 times more than men because of unpaid work. And this is largely due to the unequal distribution of caring responsibilities. According to gender equality advocate Alitia Wong, more needs to be done to narrow the gender gap in unpaid domestic work.
The findings are consistent with those conducted before the pandemic.
The pandemic, where there is a double down when everyone's at home, and the fact that women still disproportionately hold and do more of the unpaid work at home. I think the problem really stems from a big umbrella issue. Really is about gender asymmetry, so gender inequality, because there are gender roles that fall squarely on women's lap to be sort of like taken for granted, that they would do the house chores, take care of the children. And a lot of people don't see that there is also mental burden. There's also labor burden because of doing all these jobs.
She added that it's high time for unpaid care work to be included in policy agendas, as it is an important aspect of economic activity and contributes to the well-being of individuals and families.
Look into the data about how, and then specifically address how you could allow women the time to do paid work, give them the opportunity, the avenue. It's either you have ensured that fathers are also given paternity leave, so that it's a joint effort, and then the wife, I've spoken to some of my friends who are like young fathers and asked them, what really is your wish at this little like precious time, when your child has just been born, and he says like really just time to arrange the household, because my wife usually does it, but now she's in labor and she's in confinement and I have to do it, and I might be slower because I'm not used to it, so, and they might have more than one child, and so it's just about arranging the household and giving fathers the opportunity as well. And I would say that it's really about understanding, collecting the data, and putting into action some of the things that will balance out the difference that women face usually by themselves.
The European Union has placed an order for over 180 million doses of the BioNTech-Pfizer vaccine adapted for the Omicron variant. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen had discussed a deal with the vaccine makers that would allow them to ask for the development of an adapted vaccine within 100 days.
The adapted vaccines would be specially designed to provide immune protection against the mutated variant. She added that EU's drug regulator was working toward a swift assessment of the shots. Vaccine manufacturers are working quickly to investigate and adapt their shots as soon as the presence of the new variant was known. Pfizer and BioNTech had said they can adapt their mRNA vaccine to fight against the Omicron variant in less than 100 days.
Boris Johnson's Conservative Party lost a key parliamentary election as voters turned against Britain's Prime Minister over a series of crises and scandals. The Liberal Democrats won the North Shropshire seat in the country's by-election, a stronghold of the Conservatives for almost 2 centuries.
Liberal Democrat Helen Morgan won the seat by nearly 6,000 votes, overturning a 23,000-vote Conservative majority from 2019. The defeat comes as Johnson faces criticism on several fronts, including over reports of a Christmas party held with his staff last year when the country was in lockdown. Many are also questioning Johnson's handling of the pandemic after COVID-19 infections soared to record highs this week as the Omicron variant swept through the UK.
At least 27 people are feared dead after a fire broke out in a building in downtown Osaka, Japan. Public broadcaster NHK said police are looking into the possibility that the blaze was deliberately started.
The fire started on the 4th floor of an 8-story building that houses a clinic, a language school and other businesses. All of those feared dead appear to have been in the clinic when the fire occurred. Deadly fires are unusual in Japan, which has strict building standards, and violent crime is also rare. 1 year ago, a man was charged with murder over a 2019 arson attack on a Kyoto animation studio that killed 36 people, the country's deadliest violent crime in decades.
Nearly 300,000 people in southeastern Philippines were evacuated after the powerful typhoon Rai slammed the island province. At least 12 people died in the strongest typhoon to hit the Philippines this year. Heavy rains have flooded villages, toppling trees and knocking down power. Super Typhoon Rai slammed into Siargao Island on Thursday, packing maximum sustained winds of 195 km per hour. That is all we have for you on AWANI tonight. Get the latest news update on COVID-19 and COVID-19 vaccines from astroawani.com and the Astro AWANI app. I'm Fahanashi. We'll see you again.